All right, hey team, welcome to the call. I don't even know what date it is, October 23rd, 22nd. I haven't looked at the date in a while, the 23rd. Tonight we have a guest coach, super excited. You guys don't have to listen to me talk, which is always a blessing in disguise. We are going to start off with recognition though, and then I'll introduce David and go over some announcements real quick. We did not get to talk on the call last month, so we have some recognition to do for a rake advancement that happened last week. So huge congratulations, to Kara. She hit Emerald in her first 4 weeks as a coach. So congratulations, Kara.
Boom.
And congratulations to Brittany, who hit Diamond. Brittany joined us in June and has just been killing it ever since. So great job, ladies. You guys did a phenomenal job, and I look forward to more rank advancements this month. For this week, our top coaches are, I don't have the list in front of me. The top three, though, were Stephanie Parks with 375 PV, Jennifer Gravener with 300 PV, and my husband with 300 PV. So great job, you guys. You guys absolutely killed it this week. I just kept watching the team volume go up and up, and you guys kept ringing that bell in our team group of challenge packs. You guys are just doing a phenomenal job, and I'm super proud of you guys. You guys aren't giving up. As far as Success Club goes, we have 5 people that have hit Success Club on the team, and some of you are so close. So I have 14. My husband has 10. Kelsey Neeson, who this is her first month as a coach here, has 8 Success Club points. She's earned her call with Carl next month. Great job, Kelsey. Stephanie Parks got 6 Success Club points. I was hoping she'd be on the call because I wanted to talk real quick. She got six Success Club points in 2 days. So that goes to show that if you guys don't think you can hit it, you can hit it. She did it in 2 days, so it's completely possible. So do not give up on me, guys. And then Brittany Wood / Russo, whichever last name she's going by. She's at Success Club 5. Some of you are super close. Don't give up. They put Les Mills Pump and Les Mills Combat on special, so you can get Les Mills Combat for $140 and Les Mills Pump for $180, which is a phenomenal deal. You still have P90, which is $160, and then Ultimate Reset. I know nothing about it. It sounds horrible. I don't even know how much it is. That's what I don't know about it. But you still have lots of challenge packs still on special. The 21-day fix is still out there. Literally every single challenge pack this month I sold is the 21-day fix. I started marketing like 21 Thanksgiving challenge groups. Now is a great time before the holidays to market, before Thanksgiving to market, after Christmas. Kara's doing 21 days to drop a pumpkin after Halloween, which is a great idea. I love it because you know how people do Halloween. So if you have not hit Success Club yet, do not give up. There's still plenty of time this month. If you're in the Fall Classic, get with your partner and do everything you can to get that prize. I am teaming up. I have like dual teams. My husband's with Kara, so we're working towards that blanket, and I'm also with Rachel, and we're also working towards that blanket. So keep going for your goals, guys. Don't give up on me. I know you guys can do it. Super proud of you. All right. So our guest coach tonight is David McClain. Layla thought he'd be a great guest speaker. I got to know him a little bit. So let me give you a little background about David, and then I'm going to hand the call over to him. David lost 55 pounds in the first round of Insanity. He has lost 50 pounds so far. He's gone 660 days with no fast food and no soda, which I just think is absolutely phenomenal. He was the 2013 Ultimate Health Transformations Monthly winner. That's a tongue twister right there. And he was also the 2013 Ultimate Grand Prize finalist. He was the 2014 Monthly Challenge winner, and then he is now in the running for the quarterly finalist. Voting starts on the 27th, I believe, so we'll have to make sure we're voting for him. He reached Diamond in 39 days of being a coach, which is absolutely phenomenal. He is a Success Club All-Star, and in his first 2 months as a coach, he got 77 Success Club points. So I'm going to pass over to you, David. I'm going to mute myself. That way there's no staticky noise. So go ahead and take it over, David.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I don't know. I have like a lot of energy right now. I was just actually scrolling through and seeing how many people are on this call, and now I feel like I have to like rearrange my script and like put a tie on or something. You guys are awesome. So why am I here? Why is there some stranger coming and talking to all these Beachbody teams? The real answer and the truthful answer is I just love talking and I love sharing my story. And I feel like, and trust me, I'm not the only one doing this. There are a lot of coaches that are going around, especially this time of year, just to boost morale in the entire company. This is one of the hardest times of the year for Beachbody coaches. And I'm really impressed when I heard those numbers of what you guys are doing right now. that is super impressive because this is a really hard time of the year for us. So I wanted to get out there and just kind of hopefully motivate you, not just in your business, but also in your journey. The cool thing about Beachbody is the fact that this isn't a desk job. This isn't a job where, you go in, you interview, you don't really know anything about the product, and then you're learning about the product as you're selling it. No, usually, actually, I would say 99% of the time, we have experience with Beachbody and we are passionate about Beachbody before we even become a coach. So that really proves that we are in a business of passion, and that's my goal, is to help you get that passion back in case you lost it, or take that passion from 100 to 120. So that's why I'm here today. And I feel I've had, talks with teams, and what I found is that the best way to help people understand, Beachbody and the business is to share my story and kind of share where I came from. It's going to help you in a lot of ways. And one of the most important ways is just to show that, success is real. Success can happen very quickly. And, I've had so many times where I've been successful and failed and been successful again. And it's just one of those things where this is a business where you can really do whatever you want with it. You can accomplish any dream you want with it. And, we're all really lucky to be here. So I'm going to start my story. I used to start my story when I started Beachbody. I started Beachbody in March of 2013, and usually that's kind of where I start my story because I felt like I used to think that that's where my journey began. What I've come to find out is it isn't. It started a long time before that. And in fact, it started in 2005 when I graduated high school. So my entire life I've been Big Dave. Look, I've been 300 pounds since 8th grade. And I didn't misspeak there. I have been Big Dave my entire life. Matter of fact, we were just, me and my wife were just looking through my high school football program, and it has like your heights and weights on there. And I was listed as 6'5", 330 pounds in 9th grade. So I've always been Big Dave. I'm always going to be Big Dave. So if you ever hear anybody talking about Big Dave, they're talking about me. And trust me, I'm not offended by it because it's fine. I'm Big Dave, no matter how much weight I lose. All right. So like I said, so in high school in 2005, I graduated, and I was lucky enough to earn a football scholarship. And, at the time I was, 6'5", 360 pounds. That was probably around the size of offensive linemen at the time. And if anybody's ever been recruited to play a sport, that when you get recruited, they tell you one thing. When you get to school, everything changes. And that happened to me. So when I got recruited, the coach said, yeah, we want you to play at the weight you're playing right now. We're really excited about that. You're going to be one of our biggest linemen. We're pumped. I graduated high school in January. So I graduated early. That was kind of the en vogue thing to do back then. And so I graduated in January, halfway through my senior year, and enrolled in college. The first day that I was on campus, the coach took me into his office and he said, look, if you want to play football here, you have to lose 80 pounds. With that sentence, I really think that's where my journey began. And that's also where my mental illness started. He told me I had to lose 80 pounds. And the way I am, I'm a yes, sir guy. I said, yes, sir, I'll do it. In January, I weighed 360 pounds. When I came home for my prom in May, I weighed 270 pounds. In 5 months, I lost close to 90 pounds. And I did it the wrong way. I starved myself. I didn't eat. I went days without food. I drank only coffee. I dehydrated myself every day. I would run myself into the ground. I worked out 5-6 hours a day. I didn't find happiness in any other place but the scale. At the time, I had a girlfriend that I'd been dating all through high school. My family supported me. And when I came home for the first time and I was 90 pounds lighter than the last time they saw me, I thought I was doing something right. I thought I was, doing the right thing. I was doing what the coaches told me to do. And when they saw me, it was like they saw somebody else. It was like they saw a ghost. I was depressed. I had anxiety, and there was no happiness in my life. The mental illness started then. and weight became my obsession. You know, it got to the point, it got so bad that when I went back to school in the summer, we were running sprints, and it was about 120 degrees on the field. And I remember starting my last sprint and waking up in a hospital bed. And when I came to, I had IVs in both arms, and the doctor looked at me and he said, "Son, you're lucky to be alive." At the time, I was really confused. I thought I was doing everything right. I thought I was doing right by my coaches, by the people around me. And you know, what I found out was that at 20 years old, I could have been dead because of what I was doing to my body. The reason I tell you that part of my story, the reason that that's where this story starts, is because that triggered a lot in my life. I had to go to therapy. I had to talk to psychologists. And, you know, long story short, they told me I had to change my life. So I decided to transfer from that school. Now, transferring is a stressful situation in itself. And so I picked a school that was the best school for me mentally in my mind. I went to this new school. They said, "We don't care what weight you play at. Just be healthy and be happy." I had an opportunity then to take control of my life. I had an opportunity then to get healthy. And what did I do? I did the exact opposite. I started rewarding myself with food. I started rewarding myself not just with food, but with fast food. And I was down in the South. And if you know anything about the South, there's a fast food restaurant on every corner of every street, on every road. I could eat a different fast food meal every single day for the entire week and be completely happy. And it's completely possible. So I did. I ate fast food every single day for 2.5 years. It was a $400 a month bill. I spent $12,000 on fast food in 2.5 years. So the next time you talk to somebody about Shakeology and they say it's too expensive, I always say this. You know, people say to me, you know, Shakeology, it's too expensive to add to my life. And what I tell them is, well, let's see what we can subtract from your life, because sometimes change, it's more important to subtract than it is to add. A lot of times, a lot of people can save money drinking Shakeology if they do something as simple as subtracting fast food from their life. Between 2007 and 2012, I gained around 130 pounds. I didn't see it. It came gradually. I stayed away from the scale because I was scared to death of it and I hated it. The scale ran my life for 2 years when I was at that university. It was the only thing that made me happy. So in my mind, the best coping mechanism was to get rid of the scale. So I did. And it ended up nearly killing me again. In 2011, I married my high school sweetheart. I've been dating her on and off since like 5th grade. She was a cheerleader and I was a football player, and our entire lives, you know, our parents were friends. And so we were always like, you know, instant message, boyfriend and girlfriend, you know what I mean? Like she was like XO cutie, and I was like football star, 75, whatever. And so, I mean, we were together forever. And, you know, we knew we were going to get married in college. Obviously, we didn't have any money. And so when I graduated, you know, my last day on the football field, I proposed to her on the field, and then we ended up getting married on New Year's Eve. And it was supposed to be the happiest time of our life. It was supposed to be the best time of our life. We were in our mid-20s. We were getting married on New Year's Eve. We're supposed to be happy. And I wasn't, because when I looked at those pictures and I saw what I looked like, I hated myself. And I hated the fact that I let this person that I love so much, I let her down. In 2012, I had chronic heartburn. I didn't know what it came from. I never had it before. And so I went to the doctor. I was spending, you know, like $20, $30, $40 a month on, you know, Prilosec and Tums and all these things to try and help this heartburn. I was like, you know what? Let me just go to the doctor and figure this out. So I went to the doctor, and the nurse obviously took my vitals and, did my heart rate and everything like that. And then she asked me to step on the scale. And usually when people ask me to step on the scale, I had a pretty good excuse. I knew I was over 350 pounds, and every conventional scale goes up to 350 pounds, right? So I used to say, I'm 355. I'm not going to fit on that scale. Don't worry about it. And that's what I told the nurse. I said, just put me down as 355. I'm not going to fit on that scale. And she said, sir, this scale goes up to 450 pounds. Talk about the ultimate oh shit moment. I now had to face my weight. I now had to see how much I weighed. Trust me, I was completely fine with lying to everybody about weighing 355 pounds. Completely fine with that, because it made me feel a little better, and it made me not have to face what I actually weigh. And now I had to. So I say to the nurse, are you sure you can't put 355 down? And she said, no, let's see how much you weigh. So I was like, okay. So I took my shoes off, took my belt off, took just about everything off I could without getting embarrassed, just to see if I can get the weight down a little bit more. And I step on the scale, and it's reading, and then it says error. And I'm like, okay. I step off the scale. She's like, step back on. And it says error again. It was a 450-pound scale, and I didn't fit on it. I weighed more than 450 pounds. The nurse looked at me. She was shocked. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know how to react. So I just kind of smirked it off and said, I told you I couldn't fit on this scale. And I went to the doctor's office. The doctor came in, and he gave me the diagnosis of somebody my father's age. Pre-diabetes, heart disease, hypertension, high cholesterol, all of these things that somebody my father's age should be going through. I was 26 years old with the diagnosis of a 60-year-old. The doctor told me I'd be lucky if I saw 30. In that moment, I think I realized that I was killing myself with food. So I went out to my car, sat in my car, cried, and then tried to do what I usually do. I started blaming people. I started blaming my family for giving me bad genetics. I started blaming my parents for feeding me bad food when I was younger and getting me addicted to sugar. I started blaming those coaches who instilled that mental illness in me that nearly killed me and then turned me on myself and made me my worst enemy. I started blaming people for this. And as I'm doing this, a voice in my head comes out of nowhere and just says, Dave, shut up. Stop. This is on you. And in that moment, I realized that I was lucky to be there at that point, because I should have died on that hospital bed when I was 20. And even then, 6 years later, I was still killing myself with food. Like I said, that should have been the moment that I changed my life. That should have been that aha moment that made me say, you know what, I'm done with this. Let's figure something else out. Let's make something happen. Should have been the moment. But it wasn't. Even after that moment, I ate fast food. Even after that moment, I drank soda. Even after that moment, I treated my body like crap. Sure, I worked out a lot. Sure, I went to the gym. But there is no workout. There is no gym routine that can supplement what I was putting into my body. It was hard. I hated every time I got fast food after that. I hated myself for it. And then New Year's came around. It was my 1-year anniversary. And we got our wedding pictures back. And I was looking at my pictures and looking at myself and just ashamed. I couldn't believe what I let myself look like. I couldn't believe what I'd done to myself. How am I supposed to tell this woman that I love, that a doctor just told me that I'm not going to make it to 30? This woman expected me to be the father of her kids, expected me to live with her forever into her 80s, 90s, hundreds. and I might not make 30, how do I tell her that? The truth is, I didn't tell her. I didn't tell anybody about that doctor's visit. Didn't tell my family, didn't tell her. In fact, the first time they heard about it was last year at Summit. That doctor's visit changed my life. So on New Year's Day, I made a resolution, just like everybody else. I decided I needed to change one thing about my life. And I didn't know what it was going to be. And then once New Year's came around, I said, okay, let's do this. Fast food, it's got to go. January 1st, 2013, I stopped eating fast food. Wasn't easy. But I quit cold turkey and I stopped. Today is day 661 without fast food and soda. A lot of people say, it's not possible to not eat fast food. Fast food has to be a part of my life. I work a lot of hours. I'm always on the road. I have to eat fast food. The reason I kept going, and sure, right now I could eat fast food every now and then if I wanted to, but I don't, because I want to prove to everyone that fast food is not food. That fast food store on your corner is exactly the same as having a drug dealer on your corner. In fact, funny story, the county that I live in right now is trying to put a McDonald's in my town. They're trying to put a McDonald's in my town. And I called them, I said, good luck. Because I will fight that thing. I will pick it outside of that McDonald's. Because I don't want that. To me, that's like saying you're putting a drug dealer in my neighborhood. You got to understand, not to get too much off on a tangent about fast food, but fast food is created in a lab by scientists, and it's rated on craveability, that's their word, and profitability. So craveability, what's that? That's how addictive their food is. Profitability is how much money they can make off of it. That sounds like any street drug to me. So I don't want that in my neighborhood, and I don't want that in my life. And for a while, it almost killed me. So I stopped eating it. And between January and March of 2013, I lost between 15 and 20 pounds just in cutting out fast food and soda. I worked out a couple times a week, but nothing too serious, and I really didn't know anything about Beachbody at the time. But I knew about insanity. And how did I know about insanity? Well, I learned about insanity at 3 a.m. when I was eating a DiGiorno pizza. That's how I learned about insanity. I was watching some late night show at 3 a.m. and a DiGiorno pizza was coming out of the oven. I was so pumped to eat it because they're delicious. And Shaun T starts yelling, and he is yelling directly at me, basically saying, hey, fat guy, stop eating that. Do this workout. And I was like, okay, Shaun T, relax, dude, whatever. And it was 3 easy payments of $39.95. And guess what? At the time, I didn't have a job. I was on unemployment. I was 400 and some pounds. I was, miserable, depressed, all of these things. And, I looked at this and I said, you know what? Maybe that can help me. I bought this thing back in 2011. And it sat on my dresser drawer for 2 years. Finally, I was on Facebook, and I saw somebody had posted something about Shaun T, so I went and liked his page. And in March, he posted something called his birthday challenge. So I don't know if you guys saw this or not in March, but he said, okay, this is my birthday challenge. I'm going to do insanity with everybody. We're all going to do it together. I'm going to hold you accountable. It's going to be awesome. And I'm like, okay, fine. I'm taking this off the shelf, and I'm doing it. And the real thing that made me do it was he said, at the end of this challenge, one lucky person is going to get a chance to work out with me. And I'm like, that is going to be me. I am winning this challenge. I'm working out with Shaun T. We're going to be boys. We're going to go out together. We're going to be chilling. Me and Shaun T. That's happening. He's coming to my town. We're working out together. So I knew I had to do this, and I knew I had to have some kind of accountability. So what did I do? I decided to post my dinner and a picture of me after my workout every single day for 63 days on Facebook. At the time, I had around 1,100 Facebook friends. I played for 2 colleges. I had a lot of friends. So I had a pretty good following there. And I wanted them to hold me accountable. So that's what I did. I posted a big thing that just said, hey, guys, I'm about to do this insanity challenge. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but do me a favor. If a day goes by that I don't post a picture, I want you to message me, call me, text me, do something. And what was really cool about it was that people were into it. They were like, yeah, I want to yell at Dave. I definitely want to do that. I definitely want to hold him accountable. I want to get in his face if he doesn't do this challenge. And so it started on day one. And for 63 days, I posted a picture of my dinner. I posted a picture of my workouts. And I posted basically videos and, I wrote some things, just inspirational stuff that I was going through and all my changes that I was going through. Every single day for 63 days. When we got to the last day, I weighed myself and I realized I just lost 55 pounds. It was pretty awesome. 55 pounds in 63 days is pretty cool. Now, I started at around 400 pounds, so obviously it's relative. The weight really flew off, but the second thought that came to my head, my first one was, hey, this is pretty cool. The second one was, I'm winning that Shaun T workout. There's no way in hell anybody in the nation beat that. No way. So I submitted my results to Shaun T. And like 5 seconds after I submitted my picture, he comes on and he says, guys, we finished our 63 days. Congratulations, the birthday challenge. And the winner will be chosen at random. I was pissed. I just worked so hard to get the best results because in my mind, I thought whoever got the best results won that workout with Shaun T. I'm like, there's no way anybody lost more than 55 pounds. Are you kidding me? And he goes, at random, the winner will be chosen. And guess what? I didn't win. It was some 103-pound girl from like Topeka, Kansas. I don't even care. And the funny thing is, he definitely said that in the beginning, and he definitely posted, hey, the winner's going to be chosen at random. And I didn't read that, obviously. But guess what? That is the best sentence I've ever forgot to read in my life because that made me push so much harder in these 63 days. So why are these 63 days important? Well, after the 63 days, after I had that heartbreak, I hated Beachbody. I'm just going to put it out there. Hated it. I hated everything they were about. I thought they were swindlers. And, I kept watching that Shakeology ad, and I was like, that stuff is crap. They're trying to sell people this magic potion. It doesn't work. And then this woman starts calling me and messaging me and emailing me. And she's saying, hey, Dave, saw your results. You should be a coach. And I'm like, stop talking to me. I don't like Beachbody. And she just kept saying, hey, Dave, maybe you should try Shakeology. Maybe you should do this, this, this. I'm like, please, I want to be nice. You know what? I'll follow you on Facebook, and we can be Facebook friends. And that's pretty much as far as this is going to go. That woman is now one of my best friends, and she's my Beachbody coach. She influenced me to become a coach by what she was doing on Facebook. She didn't sell anything. She was just, motivating people to change their lives. I thought that was pretty incredible. And it's something that I've always wanted to do. I'm here in my office right now. I work in children's crisis. So I work with families, with kids who are in crisis. And it's just always been a goal of mine to help people. And when I realized, when I really saw my results from Insanity and thought, okay, those are pretty good. Those are pretty cool. And all throughout that Insanity journey, people were messaging me like, man, you're really motivating. You're making me want to start working out. This is really awesome. Where do I get Insanity? How do I get this started? And at the time when they were asking me those questions, I was like, I don't know, stay up till 3 a.m., watch the infomercial. That's all I got it. I don't remember the number. Like, I don't know how to help you. And, what I realized was that first day I became a coach was that now I have an opportunity to help people. In my first 2 months as a coach, I gained 77 Success Club points. I was a success starter, and Carl Deichler called me. And he said to me, Dave, how the hell did you do that? And I said, sir, I don't know. I had no idea. Guys, when I say that I was getting messages and just forwarding people to my website, that's all I was doing. I had no idea how to even work the business. I didn't even know what my back office was. I was Emerald before I even knew what Emerald meant. You know, these things happen so fast and I had no idea why. But now I do. And it's funny because I learned so much from those first 2 months as a coach last month. I really wish that surge happened right now because now I know so much more about coaching and I know, you know, how to help these people. And right now I'm actually going back and trying to get back in contact with those people and be like, hey, I didn't know what I was doing back then, but now I do. So come on, let's start this over. What I learned from those first 2 months as a coach is that I was not successful because of those months. In June and July, those were not the months that I was successful. I was most successful as a coach and as a salesman for Beachbody when I wasn't a coach in those first 63 days, when I was just doing Insanity, just posting my meals, just posting my workouts. That is when I was most successful because those 2 months, people were coming to me and saying, I saw what you did in Insanity. You know, I saw you did those last 2 months. I really want to get in on this and I want you to be my coach. So what I learned was that I was successful in sales when I wasn't selling. So my first tip to you is an obvious one. You work for a company that's passion driven, so stop selling things. Don't sell anything. Because the second you start selling things, it's the second you become a salesman and not a coach. Don't be a billboard. There are a lot of billboards out in the Beachbody world. How many times a day do you see the same picture over and over in your newsfeed? The same one. Look, I'm going to tell you right now, if somebody else posts a picture in your newsfeed, do not copy and paste it. Do not save it and send it, because then you're a billboard. Don't be a billboard. And then this last thing I'm going to tell you is something that Carl's not going to tell you, that top coaches aren't going to tell you, that pretty much nobody's going to tell you. If you're not passionate about a product, don't sell it. If you guys go on my newsfeed right now, and I hope you guys like follow me on Facebook and send me a friend request, if at any point in the rest of our friendship I promote Brazilian butt lift, I will give you $100. If you see me post about Brazilian butt lift and how passionate I am about it, message me and I will send you $100. I'm not going to promote that program. I'm not going to be passionate about that program. Now, I'm not saying if somebody comes to you and says, hey, Dave, I want a Brazilian butt, that I'm not going to show them that program. Obviously, I'm going to do that, but you're not going to see me pushing it on my newsfeed, even if it's the sale that month. Because the thing about Beachbody, the thing that's great about it is there's no quotas for these workouts. You don't have to sell a certain amount of each workout. What's going to make you successful is the passion that you sell it with, the passion that you introduce people to it with. That's what's going to get you to the next level. You're not going to sell a program that you're not passionate about. It's just not going to happen. You're not going to sell Shakeology if you don't drink it. It's not going to happen because nobody's going to believe you that it works. You know, one of the most important things that I learned from, like I said, from that first 2 months is that you yourself are the product. Here's a news flash, and this is something that probably nobody's going to tell you. Just like I said, Carl's definitely not going to tell you this either. Nobody wants to buy Shakeology. No one wants to buy Shakeology. What they want to buy is the results you got from Shakeology. They want to buy you because they know you. Nobody's going to, if I walked up to you in the street and said, and had a bag of Shakeology and you had no idea what it was, and I just said, here, this is $130. Guess what you're going to say to me? Get away from me, weirdo. I don't want that. If you posted something online and it said, hey, here's a meal replacement shake, and it's $130, guess what? Nobody's going to pay $130 for it. But they're going to pay $130 for your results, what it did to you. You are the product. Nobody's going to buy a set of 7 DVDs for $120 and think it's going to change their life. They don't think that. But they saw what it did for you. That's how I got successful. because people saw what Shakeology did for me. People saw what Insanity did for me, and they said, I remembered you when you were 450 pounds. You were nothing like you are right now. And that is how I got successful. I got successful from not selling anything. All I did was post my results and show people exactly what happens when you do a program. That is success. That is what Beachbody is all about. And that's what separates you from the person on the screen next to you and from the Beachbody coach that lives next door and the one down the street. And that's what separates you, your story. You are the product. Do not forget that. In August of 2013, I was named the monthly Ultimate Health Transformation winner. It was really cool. And what that is, if you don't know what that is, it's basically the best Shakeology story of the month, the best transformation of the month wins $1,000. After a voting process, I was lucky enough to make the top 4, so I was a grand prize finalist, and then they flew me out to Vegas for Summit. Another tip I want to give to you right now is go to Summit. Summit changed my life. I went to Summit, and after this voting process, a lot of Beachbody coaches recognized me because they had this huge voting thing, and it went on for a couple weeks, and it was really, really annoying, and I was really, really annoying about it because I wanted to win, and I lost a lot of Facebook friends because of it, but I gained a lot of Beachbody friends because of it. So when I went out to Summit, it was like a class reunion of people, of virtual friends, So I took like 400, 500 pictures with Beachbody coaches. I got to know all these people, hear all their stories, and when I tell you the MGM Grand staff was probably so exhausted after we left that place just because of the amount of passion in the room, it was incredible. It was the best weekend of my life. And it absolutely changed me. It solidified the fact that the company that we're working for is the best in the world. It solidified the fact to me that even though our website sucks, the people are awesome. And yes, our website sucks, but I'm gonna change that. I'm gonna figure out a way to change it. I'm emailing Carl today. It's in a multi-level marketing company. The people are what really make the company. And that's why Beachbody is taking over the world. Why Summit sold out in 5 seconds last year. And, it just defines how great this company is. You made the right decision joining Beachbody. And going to Summit really helped me understand that. So even if you're on the fence about Beachbody, save up and get to Summit because it's going to change your mind about it. And I'm telling you, you made the right decision being here. So go to Summit. And like I said, being the product is so important. And the reason I say that is because when I was at Summit, I noticed something. So I met probably 10 millionaires at Summit, Beachbody millionaires. And what do you think they all had in common? The dedication, they're really inspiring, they're really motivating, they're really rich, they have a great story. The thing that I noticed that all millionaire Beachbodies have in common, abs. Every millionaire Beachbody coach had abs. Why is that important? Because they are living this life and they are the product. That's why it's important. They have worked their ass off. And guess what? When they started this company, they didn't have abs. When they started in this business, their before pictures were just like every other mediocre before picture you've ever seen. But now they have abs, and now they're ripped up because this is their life, and they are the product. And when people see those transformations, they don't have a choice but to join that person because everybody wants to be healthy, but everybody's scared to start. And when you see somebody that with results, it makes you feel a lot better about that process. And like I said, every millionaire Beachbody coach has abs. Look it up, and if I'm wrong, you can tell me. But I'm telling you, every single one I met was ripped up. And that's important, not just because it's really cool that they all have abs, and I'm really jealous, but because they're living the product, and they are the ultimate product. The next thing I wanted to talk to you guys about was passion. And I am very passionate about passion, as if you couldn't tell. I think we are in a business of passion. And there's conflicting views about, the workday and how people work and the jobs people have. And I think that what separates us from a desk job is the difference between passion and logic. Logic is one of my least favorite words in the English dictionary because I think logic limits us so much. I think logic is the reason that a lot of people think they have to stick with that desk job. They have to, be in a job that they aren't passionate about because they need the money. They have to live a life they don't want to live because logic limits them. I think even when we set goals, we set logical goals because we're scared to set strong, like crazy, out of your mind, illogical goals because that stuff's not real. I think every time we see somebody do something illogical, I think we say, oh, that's like, that's something we can't do. I think we actually look at people that are doing illogical things the same way we look at a bird that's flying. Like we look at that trait and we say, I can never do that. I can't do that. That person's, that's a superhero. And I think that's logic in our minds. And I think that limits us. But the cool thing about Beachbody is it proves to us every single day that passion overcomes logic. How many times a day do you see a transformation on your newsfeed that's completely illogical? I see one 4, 5, 6 times a day. Every single day on my newsfeed, I see people that lose 150 pounds, 200 pounds. Richard Neal is ripped up right now. All these guys are just, and girls are changing their life at a completely illogical level because we are in a business of passion, and passion overcomes logic. When you get really passionate about something, logic gets unlocked. It disappears. You start doing things that you never thought you were able to do because you're passionate about it. Passionate pushes you past that logic. That's so important to know because right now you probably have goals in this business. Right now, some of you are probably saying, I want to be diamond next year. I challenge you to go to 3-star diamond next year. Why? Because why not? Why not? Logic created that goal. You thought, I saw this person and this person go to diamond in 2 years. My coach took 5 years to go to diamond, so it's obviously going to take me 7. It took my coach 2 weeks to get or it took my coach the entire month to hit 5 success points. So I'm not going to get it this month because she's better than me, or I don't have the same thing she has. I don't have the same opportunity she has. You do. You just got to get passionate about it. I overcame a fast food addiction that had me eating fast food every single day for 2.5 years. I spent $12,000 on fast food in 2.5 years. I stopped, and I haven't eaten in 661 days. That's illogical. I had a goal of helping 10 people when I became a coach. I wanted 10 people to be on Shakeology and follow me, and I wanted to help those people. I have 400 people that I help now. Illogical. I wanted to make $100 a week doing this business. I wanted to, hopefully win a $500 prize. I make well over $100 a week, and I've already won $2,500. And next month, hopefully, I'm in the running for $5,000. It's illogical, but it's happening. Let that be enough. I'm here right in front of you. I'm a real person. I'm not some celebrity. I'm not some fake person that's only on the before and after pictures. I'm a real person. All right? I started exactly where you started. It's illogical that I'm here talking to you, but it's happening, and I'm real. Let that be enough to push you to accomplish any goal that you're looking to accomplish in this company. I have an illogical goal of being 10-star diamond next year. Completely illogical, but I'm going to do it. I have a goal of losing another 40, 50 pounds. Completely illogical, but it's done up here. I'm just waiting on you guys to see it. That's how passionate you have to be in this business. And that's how passionate you have to be about your journey. There are thousands of stories in Beachbody that are completely illogical. My coach was bankrupt 3 years ago. She now makes $200,000 a year as a coach. Her husband makes $100,000 a year as a coach, and he started less than a year ago. Illogical. It's completely illogical. It happened. There are stories of people. There are people on my team who were living in a car last year, and now they just bought their first house, and it's completely illogical that they did it with some multi-level marketing program, some pyramid scheme, but they did it. It happened. So why not you? Why not now? Why not start? Why not set a goal that everybody laughs at you for? I want you to set a goal right now, and I want you to tell somebody, and if they don't laugh at you about it, it's not big enough. It's not. You need to set a goal that your friends tell you you're an idiot. That's what you need. I want you to talk to your spouse and say, I want to be a millionaire in Beachbody, and I want him to go, that's never going to happen. And that's when you know that it may just be good enough. May just be good enough. Under the laws of logic, none of that should exist. Under the laws of logic, there should be no Beachbody millionaires. Under the laws of logic, I should not have lost 150 pounds in my living room without a gym membership. Under the laws of logic, that stuff should have never happened, but they did. Be illogical, because you can be. Be passionate, because you can be, and you should be. If you're not passionate about Beachbody, you got to get out, because you're going to lose money. You're going to lose a lot of time. You are wasting your time if you're not passionate about this. If you have a goal in mind that seems crazy, good. All that means is that what you're about to do is truly incredible. You know, I have a lot of goals. I had a lot of goals a year ago. You know, my goals right now, if I could go back in time and tell the person 2 years ago what my goals are now, they would laugh at me. That's how I know they're good enough. I'm just waiting on the world to see them. They're done. They're done up here because of all the things that I've already accomplished. And all the things that you've already accomplished needs to push you to understand that there are no limits with this business. And it can happen so fast. How many people did we already hear today that are emerald in 2 weeks, that are already hitting Success Club, that have 14, 15, 17 Success Club points? You know, when I started, I had 77 in the first 2 months. It's completely illogical. Shouldn't happen. But it happened. So if you could take one word out of this whole thing, illogical. Be illogical. Be passionate. Mark Cuban, I don't know if you know who he is, but he is a billionaire. And he's on that show, Shark Tank. It's actually on tomorrow night on like NBC. I love that show. And so I love him and I admire him because he's a billionaire, but he's a guy that I could sit down and have a beer with. And I think that's really important. And he's just a really down-to-earth guy, but he's really passionate about what he does, and he's passionate about everything that he sells and everything that he pushes. He said something the other day that was really important. He said, every time I get a no, I get excited. How many times do we get no's in this business? All the time. If you work this business every day, you get no's every day. In fact, I think the closing rate of the average Beachbody coach is around like 15%. So if you talk to 100 people, 15 of them give you a yes. And that's good. All right. In the regular sales world, it's about 20% success rate. And that's when you're like really successful as a salesman. And Mark Cuban said, every time I get a no, I get excited. How many times when you get those no's do you get excited? Not much. Doesn't feel like it, right? It feels like, oh my God, this is never going to work. Why did I do this? And then, or it feels like, man, you need this in your life. Why are you saying no? Don't say no, you're wrong. And we take it so personal. I know I took it personal forever. Every time somebody told me no, I was like, all right, I got to figure this out. I got to buy this program for them. I got to do all this. And like, I just took it so personal. And every single no felt like a defeat. It felt like complete failure. It brought me all the way down. No matter how high I was, it brought me all the way down, every single no. And then Mark Cuban, this billionaire, starts saying, you know what? Every time I get a no, I get excited. And I'm like, whatever, dude. Yeah, okay, cool. Thanks. You keep counting your money. And then he went on to say, because every time I get a no, it gets me closer to that yes. He's so confident in what he does. He's so confident in his product. He's so confident in what he has to offer that he knows no matter what, there is a yes out there for him. Be that confident in Beachbody. There are millions of people who have never heard of us. That's who you need to attack. Those are your yeses. We think everybody knows about Beachbody because we have 1,000 Beachbody friends. You know, we have a bunch of people on our news feed, and it seems like everybody in the world already knows about P90X and Insanity and all of these things. And It feels like everybody knows it. No, they don't. You have an opportunity right now. This is just the beginning of Beachbody. Things are just now starting. People like Autumn, brand new, she is just now starting her influence on this country. I hate that Tony Orton is getting old, and I hate that Shaun T has like gray in his beard now, because I'm like, dude, I need you guys for like the next 20 years, to help me out, all right? And I hate that that's happening, but, I'm telling you, this is just the beginning for Beachbody. Every no gets me closer to that yes. Be so confident in what you have to offer that you know that yes is there. It's kind of like, especially this time of year, when you take your kids out to the corn maze and you have to go through this haunted corn maze, and you're like, okay, I'm definitely going to get scared. Definitely going to be people that jump out of the woods at me and scarecrows and all this crap. Okay, I'm just going to walk right by it. Scarecrow jumps out at you. You get scared. You kind of like want to punch him in the face. But then you just, I don't want to do that. So you just keep walking. And you know that there's an end to this corn maze. You know it's there. That's your yes. And every time that scarecrow or whatever jumps out, or that monster jumps out at you, those are no's. Yes, that you can feel them. You get scared, but you know that yes is there. Treat it like that. Now, that may be a terrible analogy, but it's seasonal, so I figured I'd use it. But you get the picture. And I'm going to finish with this, and it has to do with waiting for that yes. When I ended my 63 days of insanity, my first 63 days, I posted a video on YouTube. And this video was, it was just kind of like a chronological thing. I did it with like iMovie. I didn't even know how to use iMovie. I put a cool song behind it, and I posted it up on YouTube. And in like 2 months, it got around 200,000 views. It was pretty incredible. I had no idea why. And a lot of the views were like all over the world, and I guess Insanity was getting big over in the UK, so a lot of views came from there. And I was getting a lot of emails from all over the world, and I got one particular email from a guy in Idaho, and his name's Dwayne. And he emailed me, and he said, I've been on this weight loss journey, and I watched your video. I've been doing Insanity, and I've lost a lot of weight doing it, and I just wanted to let you know that I really appreciate what you were doing. And so to me, it was awesome to read that. And so I started talking to him. I started talking to him about Shakeology, and he gave me a no every day for about 2 months. Dwayne, you got to try Shakeology. No, I don't want to do it. Dwayne, come on, man. You got to do it. This is great. Look at my results. Yeah, your results are great. I can't afford it. I don't want to do it. Finally, Dwayne got a bonus at work, and he decided, you know what? I'm going to try it. Dwayne, in his journey, ended up losing 150 pounds. He ended up being an Ultimate Health Transformation winner. He won $1,000 for his transformation with Shakeology. And the best part of his story is I didn't talk to him for a couple weeks, and he sends me a video. And it's a video from the news. It was actually a link. And in the video, it shows him at the airport. And he's waiting at the airport, and he looks unbelievable. Doesn't look like the same person I met in the beginning. And I knew that his son was on a Mormon mission for 2 years. His son hadn't seen him in 2 years. In the time between when his son left and that moment, Dwayne had lost 155 pounds. His son walked right by him in the airport. His son didn't even recognize him. And then when his son turned around, when he heard his dad, when he heard Dwayne say his name, when his son turned around, the look on his face reminded me why I became a coach. It's moments like that is why you're doing this. And that just solidified for me the fact that I am going to be a part of Beachbody for the rest of my life. Don't forget those moments. You've had those moments too. May not have happened on the news, but at some point you've had a moment where somebody that you're working with, they had that moment that, wow, I love myself again. I'm confident in myself again. Don't ever forget that, because it's so easy to get caught up in the ranks, in the Success Club points, in the fall classics, in the cool t-shirts that you get when you rank up, in the signed $100 bill from Carl. It's so easy to get caught up in the numbers. Don't let this become just another desk job. Don't let this be a job about the numbers, because you will not find success. I challenge you today, right now, to write down a name of somebody that you helped them change their life and you haven't talked to in a while. And I want you to go back and talk to them. And I want you to talk to them not about their Success Club. I want you to talk to them not about how much weight they lost. I want you to talk to them about what changed up here and how they feel about themselves. You have to remember why you started. None of us started this business to make money, to become millionaires. None of us did that. None of us started this business to make Success Club 5. None of us started this business to make Success Club 10. We started this business because we wanted people to change their lives, and we wanted to be a part of it. We wanted to share our journey with people and help them change their lives. The people are why we started this journey. And that is still, right now, no matter where you are, no matter how long you've been a coach, that's still the most important part of why you're here. We are so fortunate to be able to change lives. We are so fortunate. But sometimes we forget. I know there were plenty of months that I forgot. That is a big reason why I'm here today. Because especially in this time of year, everybody's so focused on getting that 5th Success Club point. Rather than focusing on that point, focus on that person. When you start focusing your business on people, you are going to be more successful than you've ever been in your life. And just like I said, I was most successful as a coach when I wasn't a coach. That's your journey. That's where you will find your success. Stop selling and start using passion to dictate this business for you. Because passion is what's going to take you to the next level. Passion is what's going to help you overcome logic. Be passionate, because you can be. And have fun. And stop worrying about the numbers. The numbers will come. Remember the people. That's why you started. And don't ever, ever, ever forget that. All right, guys. Thank you so much for having me. I don't want to take up too much time. I know it's 10 o'clock, so. But hey, if you guys have any questions at all, please feel free to ask them about anything, about your business, about your workout program, about your diet. Maybe I can help you with that. About how to avoid fast food, anything. I'll help you with that. So if you have any questions, obviously you can unmute yourself and ask away. I'm here.
Thanks, David, so much. And team, we go through this every week, so don't be crickets. If you have a question, ask. A lot of you guys like to get really quiet at the end. So don't be shocked if no one talks, David.
No, you know what? I'm firing every single one of you. I'm calling Carl and telling him to give you a ban.
Anybody? Anybody at all?
I'll ask a question. It's Emily.
Cool. Wait, who is this? Who is this?
Oh, you can't see me. I'm on the phone.
I know. What's your name?
Emily.
Emily. Hi.
I'm the one that went. I was flying with my husband before.
Oh, I see. You're the pilot's wife.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes. And he totally listened to the first 30 minutes of the call of the drive in, and he's talking. He's like, "Oh my gosh, wow, you must have been really big in playing football," and he was really impressed with your story too. Well, because I forced him to listen to it.
Tell him I'm texting him about that plane ride.
Yeah, he would totally take you up. Anyway, sorry guys, everyone else, sorry, I know. But so you were talking about really like embracing your journey and using that you're the product, and you need to, show that you're losing the weight and you're doing the work.
Mm-hmm.
And how do I do that when I don't need to lose any more weight? That's where I'm at right now. Like I've met my goal weight, and I feel like a lot of what I'm trying to do is now tone, and it's harder for me to show progress, I guess, that way, because while I can do 10 push-ups now, and maybe before I could do one, it's hard for me to like show that to people that now I'm so much stronger now than I was. Does that make sense?
And
do you have any
what you just told me, that you started out, you can only do one push-up and now you can do 10, that's the product. That is the product. When I say that, like, there was a time, like there was a good span of 2 or 3 months that I didn't lose a pound, but I was still a new person. You know, you're still a new person. You may not have any weight to lose, but you're still a different person than you were when you started. That's the product. Now,
right.
I'm sure you're going to be learning a lot more. I'm sure you have a lot of things to gain mentally from this journey. Sure, you may not have any weight to lose, but one of the reasons a lot of people follow me on Facebook is not because of my weight loss, but because of the inspiration side of it. You know, I do a lot of work, you know, trying to motivate people, and that is my product. You know, I get a lot of people just when I put up, you know, when I put up a video of me working out. You know, I'm not losing any weight in that video, but they see me working out, and then they hear what I have to say after the workout, and you know, that's the product. Weight loss is like I said, physical changes. That's not our business. It's great that people get physical changes, but our products are not developed for weight loss. Beachbody is not a weight loss company. That's another thing probably nobody's going to tell you. It's not a weight loss company. What Beachbody does is it changes our minds. It helps us build healthy habits that are actually taking care of ourselves. That's why the programs are 63 days and 30 days and 21 days, because their goal is not necessarily to help you lose weight. Their goal is to help you change your mind about your life. That's the goal. So if you can prove to people that your mind has changed now as opposed to where it was before, that's the product. So be confident in the fact that just because you don't have weight to lose doesn't mean you're not changing, because you're changing every single day. And that you can still express that to people, you know, on your Facebook page and when you're talking to people. And like you said, I could only do one push-up before, now I could do 10. That's a huge improvement. That's a big thing, you know, and use that. That's a great story. If somebody told me that, like, oh, you couldn't do push-ups before, now you can do 10, that's, what is that, like 1,000% improvement or whatever it is? That's pretty damn good. Be proud of that.
All right. I will.
Emily, also on part of what I'm like cannot speak for somebody. David said, I was watching Fit and Funky. David, help me out. Do you know who she is? Danielle.
Oh my God.
Danielle Coots. I don't know. I posted her video on our team page earlier. Anyways, her name's Fit and Funky. That's her team name. That's how I know. She was telling about her story, and she even said, she goes, when I started Beachbody, she goes, I was already fit. I had no weight to lose. I had abs. I was already toned, and she's like one of the top coaches. So it just goes to show that you don't have to have this huge weight loss story to be successful in Beachbody. It's about the passion. It's about wanting to help people.
And it's about, and there's always a change. There's always some kind of change that you can prove to people. You know, and like I said, it's not always physical. You know, Beachbody, the programs definitely change people, no matter what. Like, even if they come from CrossFit and they come do Beachbody, a lot of people tell me it was a lot harder to do Insanity for 63 days than it was to show up for CrossFit for 63 days. Just because of the fact that, you know, you're working out in your living room, you're your own accountability tool and all these different things, you know. That's the best part about what we do, is that mental change, and prove that to people. You know, like I tell people, 2 years ago, you would not want me to be here talking to you. 2 years ago, you wouldn't want me here, because I'd be probably shoving Doritos in my face, and I would probably be late, and I would probably be annoying, and I wouldn't be this passionate about anything. I'd be pretty miserable. But there was a change there. Even if you heard me on a conference call 2 years ago compared to what you heard now, it would still inspire you to want to be in the company without seeing my results. So I think that's also important too. And keep that in mind. You know, you are changing a lot, even though it may not seem like it. You are definitely changing in these programs.
Okay.
Anybody else have any questions? You guys are always a quiet bunch.
I know I talked a lot, but can I plug the quarterly finals right now?
Go for it.
I hate to do this. Okay. So there's a Beachbody Challenge that happens every year. There's one for the Ultimate Health Transformation. That's what I was part of last year. And then there's one for the Grand Prize Finals, which is the big $100,000 Beachbody Grand Prize Final. I think Brad Jordan and Rebecca won last year. They're two of my good friends now. Changed their life. Well, before that, there's these little things called quarterlies. And I don't know if you guys have ever heard of them, but every quarter they take 10 or so people and they put them up against each other, and then there's a voting process for a week. So I am lucky enough to be a part of that, and the voting process starts on Monday. I want all of you guys, if you can, to send me like a message on Facebook because I want to be friends with you guys, and I want to follow your journey, obviously. I don't just want to like come here and talk and then never see you guys again. That's ridiculous. But shoot me a message and, follow me on Facebook. I'm going to be posting a lot about it. But basically, if you have a Team Beachbody account, you don't have to be a coach. So if it's you and all the people underneath you, they all have Team Beachbody accounts, you go on the beachbodychallenge.com and you vote. And you can vote once a day, every day for a week. So I would really appreciate it if you voted for me. However, there are a lot of amazing transformations. And chances are you probably know some of them. So I will not be offended if you don't vote for me, but it's really important that you vote because this challenge people work really, really hard for this. And, these transformations are really incredible. And winning that prize changes lives and it gives people an opportunity to impact more people. I think that's the biggest thing for me is the ability to get out in front of more people. That's what I want to do with this business. I don't necessarily want to be, the Lindsay Madaways of the company. I want to be a guy who goes out and helps people lose weight and gets in front of people. And the Beachbody Challenge is going to help me do that. And it's already helped me do that to an extent. But that stage has always been a goal of mine, and that's where I want to be. But that's the same for everybody. Everybody has a goal revolving around this, and it takes 2 seconds to vote every day. So please vote for somebody because it's really important. These guys are a part of our family. They're all Beachbody coaches, and I think we owe it to them and to everybody involved to show our support and help them out. So I would really appreciate it if you voted for me, but obviously, vote for the best transformation on there, please. I can't stress it enough.
Correct me if I'm wrong, too. If you win, too, don't you get to go to Summit to win for, like, the whole grand prize?
Well,
or is it more complicated than that?
It is a little more complicated than that. So the prize for quarterlies, you get $5,000. Awesome. I'm not going to act like, I'm not doing it for the money. No, that's awesome. All right. Winning $5,000 is cool. But at the same time, you get to go out to Santa Monica and hang out with Carl and meet everybody there and, meet everybody in corporate. And then after that, then they take the quarterly finalists and then there's another process of like not voting, but then they kind of decide who they want their top four to be. And then the top four go for the $100,000. And that's going to be the transformations this year are just out of this world. So that this year is probably going to be the best grand prize final ever. And I can't wait to see who's in it. But yeah, like one step at a time. This is the first step. So.
And they announced it at Summit, which is great. Like I said, I went to Summit this year, team. I was the only one there, but it's okay. Next year we got 15 of us. And it's just an overwhelming thing, like seeing these people on stage, like seeing how they've like helped impact people's life and not only their own, like the whole stadium is like usually crying by the end and like anticipating like the winner. I think this year they took like 10 minutes to announce the winner. I'm like, you guys are killing me right now. Like, come on.
It was unbelievable.
It's a great thing.
I was good friends with Brad and Rebecca, who ended up winning. And, we hung out the whole time at Summit and just like, I was like, how are you guys doing this? You're here for like 3 days. Like there's $100,000 check that could have your name on it. And you're just hanging out. I'm like, you guys are out of your mind. Like, I was like, I'm kind of glad that my first Summit, I'm not really up for anything because I would be a nervous wreck and it would ruin the whole experience. But
absolutely.
It's so cool, guys. Everybody that's going to Summit, you're going to have a blast. Everybody that's not going, figure out a way to go. It's so amazing, and it's worth every penny. And Nashville is going to be incredible. It's going to be awesome. I don't know if you've ever been to Nashville, but yeah, it's going to be rocking. It's going to be awesome.
All right. Well, does anybody else have any other questions? If not, then I'm going to let you guys go because it's a lot later than we usually end, which is okay.
Yes.
It's a good thing.
Sorry about that.
Does anybody have any other questions? And if you don't feel like asking now, you can always, I'm sure, message him and he'll be more than happy to answer them.
Absolutely. I got like a 30-minute drive home, and then I'll be able to answer some questions if you want to tonight.
I put his link in the chat box too to friend request him, or you can just type in his name. He'll pop up instantly.
That's where I'll be. Facebook.com/big.dave.mcclain. But just look for Dave McClain. You'll find me.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Dave, for doing our team call. You had a great story. I've already had a ton of people message me that had to leave early saying it was an awesome story and whatnot. I will post the link in the team group in case you missed anything, or if you want to share with your challenge groups. I will definitely be sharing this with my challenge groups. So share away. So again, thanks, Dave, so much. I appreciate you taking the time out of your night to do a team call with for us.
Thank you so much for having me. It was an honor. Guys, this is like I said, this is why I'm doing this, just being able to talk to you guys and being able to get in front of you and hopefully motivate you to finish the year strong and have this be the most successful quarter of the year. So good luck. Congratulations on all your success, everything that I heard in the beginning. It's freaking awesome. And keep it up. And hopefully this month is your best month. So good luck.
All right. Thanks, Dave.
Thanks, guys.